Every day you walk into a silent war. Not a war of tanks or rockets, but one of attention, framing, and obedience. In every room, whether you notice it or not, there is always someone winning and someone being consumed. If you don't decide which one you are, someone else will decide for you. This is the dark psychology of power, a force that quietly shapes your life every single day. You either learn to use it, or you're used by it. Most of us were taught that power means money, titles, or status, that it's about how many people follow you or how loudly your voice can be heard. But that definition is a lie. Real power is the ability to shape the reality of other people, to decide what they notice, what they ignore, what they believe is safe, and what they fear to lose. If you can do that, you can be broke and still be powerful. If you can't, you can be rich and still be owned. Power isn't something you possess. It exists where people believe it exists. That's why a manager who lowers their voice can dominate a meeting. A politician who answers questions with questions can bend truth to their will. And an influencer who simply pauses before speaking can train millions to wait for their approval. We think we're making decisions, but in most cases our decisions have already been designed for us. So why do we give up power so easily? Because power demands discomfort, and comfort is the drug of the weak. From childhood, we're trained to obey. At school, at work, even in relationships, we learn that approval equals safety. And slowly our brains confuse obedience with virtue. We stop asking, what's right? And start asking, what will they approve of? Every system we grow up in is built around the same principle: reward obedience, punish independence, and disguise it as teamwork. Machiavelli once wrote that men love their comfort more than their freedom. And that is why they are easy to rule, because once you fear rejection more than control, you become the perfect subject. Power is never given, it's built. And every empire, every corporation, every relationship follows the same hidden structure. There are three silent currencies of power: attention, information, and emotion. Attention is the first. Whoever controls what people look at controls what they think about. That's why outrage spreads faster than wisdom. Attention is the fuel of control, and in today's world, social media is the battlefield. The second is information. Knowledge alone isn't power anymore. Controlling what knowledge others see is. Misinformation doesn't have to be false. It just has to be arranged in a way that keeps you reacting instead of thinking. And the third is emotion. The most powerful person in any room is rarely the loudest. Say it's the calm one, the one who can make others feel something. Because people don't follow logic. They follow emotion, especially fear and comfort. That's why propaganda works. That's why marketing works. And that's why manipulation so often feels like love, until it doesn't. When a boss says, "You're lucky to have this job," they aren't giving you information. They're setting a frame, a subtle reminder that you owe them. When a partner says, "I guess you don't care," they're not seeking understanding. They're using guilt to control your response. And when the media repeats a phrase over and over, "For your safety," to protect you, like everyone's doing it, you don't just obey. You start believing that it was your idea. That's the brilliance of modern control. It doesn't feel like control at all. The modern slave isn't chained. He's entertained. He scrolls his leash voluntarily, thinking he's free. You're told what to desire, what to fear, what to cancel, what to admire, and you call it freedom of choice. But if the menu was written by someone else, how free are you really? So how do you break this cycle? You don't fight the system by shouting at it. You fight it by understanding how it works, and then using that knowledge consciously. First, stop seeking validation. Every like, every compliment, every nod of approval you crave teaches your brain to hand over its power. Detach from that need and you instantly become unpredictable and powerful. Second, control your attention. Your focus is the most valuable currency in existence. Don't let algorithms decide what you care about. Guard your focus like a king guards his crown. Third, master the art of framing. Whoever defines the meaning of a situation controls it. Next time someone insults you, reframe it calmly. You seem upset, and what's bothering you? That single shift transfers control back to you. Fourth, learn strategic silence. Silence creates tension, and tension, when used deliberately, creates influence. Don't rush to fill every gap in a conversation. Let others reveal their need for approval instead. And finally, build self-trust. Because once you trust your own judgment, you stop needing permission to use it. Here's the paradox that few understand. People who chase power just to dominate others end up enslaved by their own ego. But those who build power to remain free, they can't be bought, cancelled, or controlled. True power isn't about ruling others. It's about being impossible to rule. When you stop needing to be seen, you start becoming someone worth seeing. When you stop begging to belong, you start belonging everywhere, because the highest form of power is peace, the kind that no one can take from you. You were born into a world that trains you to obey first and question later. But if you've made it this far, you're already waking up. Use what you've learned. Observe, question, frame, and build inner power, the kind that doesn't need permission. Because power is not evil. It simply reveals who you really are.